So I'll just go ahead and finish this weld with the straight daub method, and then the next joint we'll do in the C method. Okay. There we go. It's not bad, except right here where I've got a little bit of a hole there. It's not really porosity. You don't really get porosity with 6010. It was just that there was just a bit of a gap there when I started off. You always want to start ahead of where you're going to weld and come back if you can, because that lets your end of your rod heat up and lets the gas pocket form. So my rod wasn't hot enough when I started there. All right, next we're going to do the C method. Okay, now we're going to do the C method on the hot pass. So it's just a different technique. At the bottom of the first pass that we just did, it was a straight daub motion where we're going in and out. Now we're going to do a C, and I call it a C because basically it kind of looks like a circle or an oval, but I call it a C because we're actually depositing metal on the back part. So you hesitate just for a split second. And this one, instead of keeping it an 1/8 to a 1/16 off and long arcing it, you have a very tight arc. So you're actually going to go in and touch the base metal at the top, hesitate for a second, and then drag the metal down, and then pull out and go right back. So that's why I call it C, is because the depositing part of it is in a C shape, and once we get down here, then we kind of whip it out and go right back. So it's going to be in motion pretty much like this that you'll see me doing. All right, here we go. Okay, so we're very rhythmic in this. It's nice and tight. I had a problem right here where what ended up happening there was that the arc wanted to burn off the flux on the bottom there, and even though I was dragging it up, I couldn't get it to come out the top of the rod or straight into the rod. it was wanting to burn out the bottom, and that's what happened here. When we break the flux off, or slag off, we'll see that the weld actually dripped down there. Okay, so that's not what I wanted to happen. So, and that's, you know, it could be caused by a couple different things. The grounding, the way that it's being grounded, the manipulation that I'm doing, even though I tried to be consistent, maybe there was just a little bit of inconsistency in that one spot that caused it to do that. Or it could just be that the flux wasn't poured evenly or put on the rod evenly at the electrode factory. I prefer to think that that's the problem and not me. Alright, so now I'm going to take the grinding wheel because I don't like that spot, and I'm going to grind that down. Alright, that's good enough. Okay, so then when I go ahead and tie my other hot pass, the rest of the hot pass in, let's move this over just a little bit. Okay, when I tie the hot pass into this part and go on to the rest of the joint there, I don't have to grind that down there, but because it's got kind of a funky little crater in there, I'm going to grind it. That's just to make sure that I make good contact all the way through. Right. So now I'll finish the joint out with the rest of my C. Okay, so here is the C hot pass. And you can see it's nice and steady. Very good dime placement there. And it's very rhythmic in the patterning, okay? So consistency, that's what we're looking for. And then we'll look at the one that we did before, which is the straight daub. Same thing. Nice consistency, good even dime placement. Now there are places here that are beautiful and places that are going to work. Okay, so I prefer to think, you know, that a spot like this range right in here is just about perfect. Okay, so it's about a 1/16 off. I mean apart, those dimes. And then in here, there's a little funkiness in there where it's just not quite exactly even. This is where we ground it down from that little lump that we got. And you can see back here where we started. Again, nice and even. So that's what you're looking for in your hot pass. And again, what it does is it covers up your root pass, and it gives you an additional layer so that then we can go in with our 7018 and do our fill and our cap.